When we talk about minorities on campus, usually we're referring to, race, creed, or gender. But these days, I think there's a bigger minority at our institutions of higher learning. It's an alternative view to the liberal agenda. Too many professors are passing off their leftist beliefs as facts and denying our kids a diversity of opinion. Well, all this week, we're going to bring you a series called Life on Campus. Buckle up, America. This is going to get ugly. Looking at educational issues and sex on campus and everything else. We're going to try to look at the issues from all sides. Yeah, just in time for you to pack your kids off to school. Joining me now is one of the many professors making sure that there is a balance, at least at one American university. His name is Robert George. He's a McCormick Professor of Jurisprudence and Director of the James Madison Program in American Ideals and Institutions at Princeton University. Professor, I have to tell you, this next year I will have 2 girls in school, and one of my daughters has said to me just recently, "Dad, what do I do?" And I said, "You deny that you're my daughter every step of the way." What advice do you give to a conservative student? Should they shut up and take it? Should they write the papers that the professor wants? How do they learn and grow?
Glenn, that's the reverse of the right advice. Conservative students do best when they try their best to learn everything that they can from professors, whether those professors agree with them or not. When they passionately but civilly defend their own positions, when they make arguments for conservative positions and engage those who argue on the liberal side, whether it's their fellow students or professors. This is not a time to hide. This is not a time to mask one's own true views. This is the time to engage, to defend, to argue.
But Professor, I have talked to student after student after student who has done that. And you know what? The thing I like about you is you have told conservative students on campus, look, you come to me and you're not well-reasoned, well-thought out. If you've got holes in your argument, I ain't helping you at all. You have to have a good argument for me to stand up for you. And I appreciate that. But I've heard from students who say, I'll flunk the class if I don't give him the paper that he wants.
There are professors who do grade unfairly based on ideology. In some cases, it's conscious, but in other cases, it's not even conscious. Professors just lack the ability, in some cases, to distinguish work that disagrees with their position from work that's bad. You can have good work, but since it doesn't ring true to the professor's own views, the professor grades the work down. But that's the minority, Glenn. That's the minority. Most professors are liberal, but most professors really make an effort to grade fairly. Students have to demand that, though. Students have to demand it, and conservative professors, and I try to do this myself, have to be prepared to stand up for students who are graded unfairly by the professor.
Do you agree that it is harder the higher the education level? If you go into as a graduate student and you're a conservative, you got a real rough road ahead of you.
You have some challenges, but I'll tell you what, you'll sharpen your wits. You have to defend your positions all the time. You can't just slide by. You can't just get along. The conservative students that I have, both the undergraduates and the graduate students, are really sharp kids. So I think part of the reason they're so sharp is they're constantly having to sharpen their wits against arguments on the other side.
Okay. Professor, you'll be back with us later again this week, and we're going to be out in Princeton later this week. It's a week if you've got kids going to college you don't want to miss. We'll be back in just a minute.